here for another final thoughts before elections tomorrow. Um, we have no idea how this is going to go, but kind of feels like we've been doing that for 2 years now. And fortunately, tomorrow is the opportunity to truly end everything that started 2 years ago.
And begin something.
Yes,
Too.
and
Mhm.
begin the hard work
That's right.
of moving in a better direction. So, guys, as y'all are jumping on, we are going to do the same thing that we did last time before the primaries. We're going to go here uh, probably till about 9 o'clock. We've got a laundry list of guests to jump on the phone and talk with them. So I'll run through real quick. Dr. Butch Douthit, who actually should be joining us in studio here in just a minute. Mr. Phil Williams, Trey Pierman, if you saw the aviation video or he was involved with Etowah community, he's actually got a fly-in October 1st out at the airport, same day as Riverfest, I think.
October 1st.
Mr. Fred Zachary, who is always a blast to talk to because, well, he just tells it like it is. Mr. Trent Thrasher is going to jump on with us. Jason Wilson and Mayor Joe Taylor. And we're going to finish it off with Mr. David Chadwick.
And we may have Julie join as well.
Oh,
so that'll be an extra
right.
treat if Julie Chadwick comes on too. I hope so.
So, guys, somebody drop a comment and let me know that you can hear it and that you, well, if you've got questions, honestly, this is much more about we're going to just have some conversation, talk with y'all. We'll see how many hateful comments we get, and we'll deal with those as we need to. But guys, I'm feeling optimistic tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be fun.
I'm feeling great.
So,
Yeah, it's well, honestly, I think the biggest thing for me is what's done is done. Like all that's left now is like tell people go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. Don't forget tomorrow is the day, and set 7 alarms if you're that type of person. But get out there and vote. But other than that, there's really nothing any more these candidates can do.
Oh, now it's our turn to stand up and to speak up. And this is we've been saying for 18 months, almost 2 years now, that this is what will ultimately solve all the problems we've uncovered, and this is what it's all about. So I'm really excited for this moment to see how this city and this county has stood up for 18 months, but it's going to stand up again, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be a great day tomorrow.
All right. See Christy King joining us. Hey, Christy, Miss Kim Kidd, and the illustrious Reba Stanley.
Oh, hey, Reba.
So part of this to me is, it's I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Really, no matter how things go tomorrow, it really kind of marks the end of what has been occurring. Tomorrow, everything really kind of changes in one direction or another, I think. I think either things truly end and change and goes in a good direction, or we run the risk of kind of, I guess, for lack of better words, getting worse. Or at least making it clear where everybody stands in this community, and it puts us kind of on a clean slate for everybody to make decisions about where they want to be in Etowah County.
What's been amazing throughout this is we've known that this election was going to be a choice point. We've known that this was going to really tell us where this city and this county was going to head. And the concern we initially had is will everybody who hasn't been dealing with this in the day-to-day so much because you're out, going to ball practice and having a life, unlike us that have been doing the rendering plant for so long, will people have an opportunity to see it? Will they understand what this is about, how serious it is? And the way it's turned out is it is abundantly clear I think everyone understands the seriousness and the that this is a generational election. What we decide tomorrow will determine one direction or another. This is not one of those elections where it's all going to be the same no matter what. No, it's not. And so the way this has unfolded during the campaigning, it's become just abundantly clear the decision that the people of Gadsden have to make tomorrow and what direction. So we'll know tomorrow what direction that choice is. I am optimistic that the choice is going to be that of honesty and integrity and truth and light. So I'm pretty excited about it.
All right. Well, so we're hitting about 7:20. I guess Dr. Douthit had a meeting, right?
Yeah, he'll come over. He's coming after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, when I started, we're kind of winging it. We'll get Phil Williams on the phone here in just a second.
He's ready whenever we are.
Oh,
yeah.
All right.
He just sent me a text, and so
he's not standing outside the door, is he?
No, Phil. He's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Phil.
Phil.
Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
you.
Phil. Yeah.
But okay.
I went ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, we'll see. Jonathan, how you doing?
I'm doing great over here. I'm doing good.
All right. So one thing before we jump on with Phil that I want to throw out there is, let me get this up on the screen. So this is, I got a lot of feedback on, hey, what are the results? Where do we go find results? I know the Gadsden Times got some numbers out during the primaries, and it was kind of hard to follow along. So we're trying something a little more dynamic, and tomorrow night we're going to be pulling in information from folks down at the different precincts as they post information as we get it. And this morning I built out a web page that shows the total results of votes and then a breakdown by precinct down at the bottom of the page, and you can see the URL on our on the screen there. So we're going to do the best we can, obviously completely unofficial. So don't send us any hate mail if our numbers get out of whack. But I think we've got a pretty good system. We got a bunch of great volunteers, not just from the AE side, but a lot of the candidates and folks that are helping them are going to help feed us the information so we can get it in actually before it necessarily makes it back to City Hall, which for this election, City Hall is going to be where it all comes together. And if I'm not mistaken, about 7:30, 8 o'clock tomorrow night when stuff should really kind of start rolling in.
Polls will close at 7. The poll workers will then count the votes in each machine. Then they'll print out several different slips of the results. They'll post a slip on the polling station door, put a slip in, several slips in sealed envelopes, and then take those up to City Hall, where they will open those, and then the official tally will be there. So we're just like with everything, the community has come together in a really great way, and we think we're going to have people at each polling station to be able to take a photo and send it to us before it even goes to City Hall. But we'll also have somebody at City Hall too. So and it all kind of arrived from so many people telling us that when the primary happened in May, nobody could get any of the results. They didn't know what was going on. And so just thought it would be a great opportunity to help people push that out to everybody, because we're all going to be just sitting on the edge of our chair. You will too. We are too. So we're going to try to help each other out.
All right. Let's jump on.
And let me say something. If I'm texting while I'm on this live, y'all, it's not because I'm trying to line up guests. So I promise I'm paying attention. I don't want people to think I'm texting while I'm on my live.
That's all right. I'm over here reading and Jonathan's over there. I don't know. Probably designing. He's probably getting work done. Knowing him,
I'm working.
He's sitting over there catch up on paint scheme designs or something. I mean, guys, this guy is always, well, I mean, I guess that's why you got such a great facility and why you're such a rock star at Oshkosh.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I took a day off. I actually took a Saturday off.
Oh, nice.
Can you believe it?
Nice. All right. Hey, give him some love. Hit those hearts and those thumbs ups for
oh my gosh,
Jonathan taking a day off. All right, let me get Phil on the phone. before we meander on too far. We're trying.
Hello.
Hey, Phil, it's Michael. How are you?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. You were on with Christy and Jonathan and a few other folks from Etowah County. 30 of our favoritist friends. How are you tonight?
Outstanding. I'm good. Glad to be with y'all.
Hey, Phil. Thanks so much for calling.
Hey, Christy.
Hey.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So we're focusing on it's election day tomorrow. Where are your thoughts as we maybe not all of your thoughts.
But my wife's already cautioned me on some of my thoughts. I mean, right now, I'll be honest with you. I feel like the momentum is there for Heather New.
Okay.
She's got way more support than the other candidates. She's got way more appeal than the other candidates. And she is certainly working her tail off. I mean, it's so obvious. I saw her again Saturday. We were at an event together, and she was sunburned and recovering from having just jumped in the shower and come to the event because she's been out knocking on doors all day.
Yep.
And I think some of my favorite stories are the ones she tells me of just people. She'll go right up to a door. I mean, she knocked on multiple doors that even had Craig Ford signs in the yard. And they said, "Pay no attention to the sign. We did that to shut him up." So we're seeing that everywhere. So I am very hopeful, and I think the momentum is in her favor.
Well, awesome. Well, so we were kind of talking about tonight and really, I guess tomorrow. And you've been in the fray with us now for 2 years. Kind of feels like So we had a party to really celebrate the end of the rendering plant and that case, but tomorrow really kind of ends it. I mean, like really puts a knife through it, and we're done, and we go one way or another after tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And forgive me for not even knowing this too, but like for instance, when I got elected as a state senator, I got elected and I took office that night. When does the mayoral transition take place once the election's over?
I think it's November 7th is when
November?
the swearing
Okay.
is. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was like a month or 2 later.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it is worth mentioning for those that may be thinking that they need to go in and vote on the national campaign. This is only Gadsden elections tomorrow.
That's correct, absolutely.
So.
But let me tell you how important this is. For instance, I represented a lady named Debbie Hills who ran for city council in Rainbow City just a couple of years ago. She lost by 1 vote. We worked the case, and we found out that there were at least 9 votes, and the judge agreed with us. Those 9 votes had not been properly considered, and so we got those ballots opened in court. Unfortunately, we just went after the votes we knew were wrong. When we opened them, there were some that were for her opponent, Anita Bedwell, who I've known Anita for a long time. She's a nice lady, but anyway, but when they opened them, my client still lost by 1 vote. She also found out later that some friends of hers, a couple, had forgotten to go vote. So that one couple would have made the difference in who was on the city council in Rainbow City. That's how big this is tomorrow. You can't forget to go vote.
Right.
So it's huge. Yeah. Don't be the one who finds out later on that your vote could have made the difference.
And get anybody that needs a ride that remind them. Everybody needs to make sure they go vote and get as many people to the polls. Every vote counts. You're absolutely right, Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just even one step further than that, a friend of mine, Tom Watley, he served in the state senate from Lee County down at Auburn. He had Lee, Tallapoosa, and part of another county, Russell, I think, in his district. Anyway, a multi-county state senate race, and he lost it by 1 vote, literally 1 single vote. And he finally had to give up his appeal because it wasn't gonna change. That 1 vote can still make a difference.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing a lot of a few comments about the likelihood of a runoff. which obviously has been a huge point of conversation with as many folks as we have in here. And I don't know, I obviously, well, I guess what I've come to see in Gadsden and through all this, even with polling, I kind of feel like there's really no way of knowing. Like, you're not really kind of wrong going any direction with what you think on whether one person's going to take it, if you think it's Heather, or if it's going to truly run into a runoff. Um, is that kind of
Yeah, you know what?
the norm around this area?
No, I mean, it's normal everywhere. I mean, this has been the year of the runoff. It's also been the year of the challenge. So don't let anyone tell you that because the polls they think are a certain way means your vote doesn't matter. I mean, truth be told, I've always kind of openly joked, but it's true that if polls were always to be believed, I would have never gotten elected. So I really think that if we go to a runoff, fine. Then let's go to a runoff. Let's just keep the game going. Right. But heck, don't let it be because we forgot to go vote.
That is case. I was just going to say that makes it even more important to get out there, and every vote is really going to matter for the citizens of Gadsden. I do hate that I can't vote in Gadsden, but and I guess maybe we'll finish up the conversation with you and Dr. Douth that just walked in. We'll jump on with him here in a second, but and now I've completely forgotten my train of thought. Where was I going to go?
There's a runoff potential. It could go either way. There's the interesting
this ever happened to you on your radio show, Phil?
Never, ever.
But it's hard to get a pulse on what the city feels, because we're such a diverse city too, and so that's such a different, and so it's really, but I agree, Phil. Even though it's difficult to get a pulse on, the momentum feels like it's moving. Yeah. But we don't know. We'll just know a lot more tomorrow.
So I know I thank you. You helped me remember. So as I talk about being an outsider from Rainbow City and not getting a vote in Gadsden, I know you've been on. We talked some about this as we closed out the case, and you've put out some other content about this, Phil. But this whole narrative of stay out of Gadsden, quit talking about quit meddling in Gadsden's business. What are your thoughts on that?
No, that's ridiculous. We are a community, and can everybody vote in Gadsden? No. Can everybody care about Gadsden? Certainly. I mean, how many people who cannot vote necessarily inside the city limits, but how many of them have a business inside the city limits? How many of them have family members in the city limits? How many of them have their kids that drive from outside the county to go to school in the city limits? And in many ways, I've said before that even though Gadsden is not the only municipality, it's still the hub. It's the county seat, and in some ways, as goes Gadsden, so goes the county. So we've got to get this city hall back in line with the understanding that the people of this city deserve better. And I was a state senator for Gadsden, but I lived in Rainbow City. And for some reason, that was an affront to some people. But then again, Richard Shelby is the senator for the entire state. How many times did they call him needing something, even though he didn't live here? You get over that ridiculous, divisive mentality of you have to live here to understand here. And the other thing that I always heard was, well, you're not from here originally. Oh, okay. Well, let me be one of the old, archaic, cobweb-laden individuals who just does same old all the time.
Right.
Maybe once in a while you might want to branch out and realize that new ideas actually bring freshness to the area. And
well said. You're more of a native than I am, but and I think everybody's got to realize everybody brings something to the table. I mean, those that have lived around here forever bring a lot of history and understanding that can help you figure out why we are where we are, which can then help all of us figure out, well, this is where we need to go, and this is what we need to be, and this is figure out a plan to get there. So, well, Phil, thank you for jumping on. I think we're going to swap out and get Dr. Douthit on, and I appreciate you kicking us off tonight. Always eloquent.
Absolutely glad to do it, and hello to Butch Douthit.
All right. He doesn't have a set of headphones on
We'll
yet,
tell
so
him.
we will definitely pass it along.
I was
So
gonna give him my spot.
uh,
We're gonna fight over. Who's
I don't
gonna
know.
Give him a
Phil,
spot.
have a great night, and we look forward to talking to you probably tomorrow as results start pouring in.
Sounds good. See you guys.
All right. See you, man. All right.
Quick change here.
Yes. And scene. All right.
That was good. That was pretty. That was pretty smooth.
It was.
How are you tonight?
Doing very well. Doing very well. Thanks.
And I'm Christy is. I guess we're going to be a little bit later on Trey.
Trey's ready to go, but I texted him. It might be a minute.
All right, we'll talk for a second. Then, if you want to hang out, I mean, you can hang out as long as you want.
All right.
We're just having fun. Yeah, we can get Trey on the phone. Let me actually, Jonathan, why don't you talk to Dr. Douthit for a quick second? Let me jump in the comments and see if there's anything interesting going on in there.
I thought I was just here for.
I mean, you are here for your looks. Don't get me wrong. But how are things? How are things going? I guess I'll kick it off with that.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for getting us kicked off here. Yeah, what do you think? You know, we've gone through this thing with the PAC, and we've dealt with you know, the last couple of months of candidates, and what the last couple of weeks seem to have gotten a little more aggressive on some of the campaigning. And what are your thoughts on what's happened and how we're going to come out of this thing?
I'm really excited. I think this is a big time for Gadsden here, and it's time for the citizens of Gadsden to stand up. I think, like we've mentioned before, this is a very diverse group. I've been fortunate to be a citizen of Gadsden here now for 31 years, and I owe a lot, I feel like, to the city of Gadsden. It's been very good to me and my family. I feel like I'm a part of Gadsden. Even though I didn't grow up here, I grew up in Jacksonville, Alabama, which is close by. I came to Gadsden as I was as a youngster. So I'm excited. I think Gadsden has a lot of potential here. I think we're on the verge of something great here.
Yeah, I think that's really important too. When you keep talking about growth in Gadsden and bringing new people in and bringing in a new population and a younger generation, you know, you can't keep that. Well, you're not from around here, so you can't have any say in what goes on. You can't have both. You can't have growth, and then you can't, you know, fall back on that. Well, you don't know anything because you're not from around here. So, you know, you've got to. You just got to accept that people are going to have new ideas and different takes on things, and you know, that's how you grow and change and learn from new people.
So, Jacksonville, that's where you grew up, right?
That's correct.
And you got a little political background, don't you? Or
yes.
you try to keep that on the down low, or?
No, I'm proud of the fact my father was mayor of Jacksonville for 6 years. He served several years on the city council, and my mother also served on the city council. So I do have some political background here.
Well, I'm sure everybody's wondering when you're going to run for office and get things fixed.
Hey, I'll just keep it quiet right now.
It wasn't a no, folks. No. You know, I know you guys have been involved through at least all of this. You know that I've known you in you know behind the scenes with a lot of stuff that we've been dealing with the last 2 years, and appreciate you know you always being there, and anything that's been asked, you raised your hand and let me know, I'll do it, and that's a huge thing, and I know there's a lot of other folks that you know will a lot of us will just never know all the work that's been going on around this community, and it's pretty cool to see. So Neo, as we talk about our area, where all do you have your locations? Because you're not just in Gadsden. I think you're opening up one in Jacksonville, right?
That's the plans. That's very soon. We hope to open in Jacksonville. That was one of my goals to get back to Jacksonville. We were at Jacksonville at one point, but like you said here, I mean, we've been here in Gadsden, Alabama since 1986. About 5 years ago, we opened up a clinic in Rainbow City. We also have a presence in Center, Alabama, Fort Payne, and also in Boaz.
All right.
So we're around all around.
So I mean, you're a regional. We were just talking, kind of closing out with Phil, this concept of, if you're not in Gadsden, that folks from Rainbow City or folks in Horton Bend, you need to stay out of our business. But I mean, you're kind of the epitome of the business owner and operator for a region. So what are your thoughts as you kind of hear those kind of comments? How does that make you feel?
Well, there's a lot of us that that live in Gadsden, but there's a lot of people who live outside of Gadsden who work in Gadsden, who are very much a part of this community, even though their house residency doesn't say Gadsden, Alabama, and a lot of them says Gadsden, Alabama. It's just not in the voting district of Gadsden, Alabama. So, but they're a part of this community, a big part of this community, and they care about this town, and they want things to be good. I mean, everyone wants Gadsden to prosper, and we look around at other towns and we think, why can't this be us? And so I think it's very important that we continue to push. Gadsden can be better than it is, and we deserve better. The people of Gadsden deserve better. And I think this is an opportunity we have to take a step forward in the right direction.
All right. Well, Jonathan, you got any other? I'm looking. We got debates going on about the chances of a runoff, and 51%. That's what you got to get. However many votes. So definitely a lot of figuring to see where that goes. I guess I'd say, Butch, what are you hearing? What do you feel like? How do you think things are going to go? You think we're going to run to get into a runoff tomorrow night, or?
I think with the number of candidates we have, I think it's going to be very hard for one candidate to take 51% of the vote. I think it's just
and obviously, I mean, I definitely speaking of the mayoral race, and we do have the other critical the city council races.
But the council seats the same way; they're 51% in their district as well.
They are.
We've got our attorney shaking her head, saying yes.
I know I've only been really focused on the mayoral, thinking about that, and
well, and then we'll keep going and finish it off. But I think all the polls that we've had that have come out. I mean, I personally, I don't put much stake in polls because I don't know anybody that answers a phone of a number that they don't recognize. I assume you're probably that way. I know my phone will filter them out, to be honest. And then if you do somehow get me on the phone for a poll, I'm not so sure I'm gonna give you the straight answers just because it's kind of fun to give the bad info. So, but tomorrow it's not polls. It's the rubber meets the road, the real numbers, and we're going to know a lot about this community tomorrow. So I'm excited.
It's the real deal. And I think the seats for the council without incumbents is going to be pretty interesting. Those races are going to be interesting to watch.
And I guess we could say from Advanced Etowah's perspective and those that we've been fighting for the last 2 years, no incumbent is. We're happy with those seats. At least it's something different to try and move in a different direction with. So, but that's all right. We're trying to stay positive tonight because there's just not much more we can do.
Speaking of positive, I just want to.
Oh, am I not loud enough? Okay.
Too quiet. Wow. Michael. I want to go on a totally different tangent here, but I'm pretty excited to see the announcement today for the broadband internet expansion into Altoona. Did you see that, Grant? I'm pretty excited about that. We've had slow internet out there for a long time, and finally, us people, where is it going to be? There's a grant for Etowah, Cherokee, DeKalb counties, $9 million internet expansion program that Andrew Jones announced today. So,
well, yeah,
I'll be able to surf the web, watch Netflix.
What have you been doing out there all this time?
Just playing cards and.
Well, Doc, are you gonna hang out with us for a second? Let us get Trey Pierman on the phone, or you gonna skedaddle and get home? You're welcome.
I'll hang.
All right.
Let me just say one thing though.
Go ahead.
The main thing is Everybody just needs to get out and vote. And that thing, what you don't realize is how important your vote is. I mean, the reason I say this is because my father won the mayor's election by one vote. One vote made the difference. So I'm just saying, when you sit at home and the weather's not great, and then you just say, "Well, I just won't vote. It'll be all right. I'll get it and run off." You really need to think twice. And if you want to get out and make yourself heard, just get out and vote. That's all I can say.
And it's crazy when you really look at the numbers. Well, what is about 6,500-ish, 6,800-ish that decided the mayoral election, and getting into that conversation of if you're in Rainbow City, stay out of Gadsden's business, but 35-ish thousand in Gadsden, 103-ish thousand in the county, and as Phil just said a few minutes ago, as Gadsden goes, so goes the rest of us. I mean that. So you're talking about 6,800 people that are deciding 103,000 people's futures. Sorry. So one vote can make a difference.
Yes.
What? Hey, are the rest of you? Because I'm kind of peeking out. If you're having trouble hearing us, I would say turn the volume up on your phone. Because honestly, sometimes I've had that as an issue. Or try closing out the app and come back in and see. But I got a bunch of thumbs up that you can hear us good. I'm looking pretty loud right now. So y'all let us know. We'll do whatever we need to do to try and fix it. I'm getting an audio is good, so I'm not sure who you're talking to. They may have a device issue, and like I said, it sometimes happens. So let me give Trey a call. And all right, Jonathan, we have to resist talking airplanes for the next 15 minutes.
Can't do it.
I know it's
I'll be
hard.
Sweating
it's
over
here. Are you an airplane guy?
Yeah, I'm an airplane guy, but I want to tell you, I want to put in a plug. That was tremendous. That's the first time I'd ever been out there to see your business, and that is fabulous, man.
I appreciate
the work you do out there. I mean, that's fabulous. I think you ought to. That's something you want to look to is get some of the kids and some of the schools and things out there sometime just to bring them through, because that's a tremendous job you do.
So we've been really fortunate. We've actually done some of those programs with the career tech programs that come through. So we'll have 5 or 6 bus loads full of kids come through the year, and it's been good. Actually, we've hired people from that too. We've got some high schoolers that come through, and they'll actually just show back up the next day, and they're like, "Hey, I want to work here. What have I got to do to get a job?" And it's been pretty cool. It's been good.
And he's got a remarkable crew out there. Now I don't want to give them a too big of a head and make his life even harder, but he's got a good group of folks out there. All right, let me give Trey a call and see if he'll pick up.
Hello,
Trey, you're on with Michael.
Sir.
How are you tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We've got Dr. Butch Douth that actually hung around to talk with you, and Jonathan's on. I told Jonathan before we gave you a call that we've got to resist the urge to talk airplanes for the next 15 minutes.
Absolutely. I'll
So-
do my best.
I guess let's start with what are your thoughts on here we sit the night before elections. What do you feel like is going to happen?
Well, first off, I'm extremely excited. I think that there's a lot of energy in Gadsden and surrounding areas, just the anticipation of what's going to happen tomorrow. Definitely more energy than I feel like that we've had in previous elections from all walks of life, and and even the Gadsden's race is really drawing people from outside of Gadsden into the into the conversation.
Yeah, that I think that's an understatement we're having. But it's been kind of cool to see the community come together the last 2 years. You've been in the thick of it with us. Trying to help us get that Etowah community program or project put together out at the airport along the way, which it's hard to believe that's been over a year now since we made that pitch Still a viable idea. Again, trying to resist the urge to get into airplanes. But let's go general with the airport. Because if guys, if you haven't seen, I know you got to take Heather New up for a flight, but and we can remove Heather out of the equation, although she put the meeting together. But we had a room full of our state representatives, and Congressman Adderholt came in. Jason Wilson was there. A couple of mayors sitting in the room having a conversation about what needs to change to make the airport work better. How does that make you feel?
The airport has been such a undiscussed topic for years and years now. I'd say a decade or better from any type of politician for the most part, or anybody with any elected position or board member or whatever. And so to see that now that people are starting to realize what an asset that the airport is, and that it's a gateway for a lot of political business leaders into Etowah County and Gadsden. I think I think the topics have shifted and started around, hey, this is a real viable opportunity here that we've got.
And you don't so real quick, what's the short version for those that don't know? Like what is your business that you do that has you moving all over the country?
So we travel all over the country building Family Dollars, Dollar Trees in every little town, big town. And so we fly into tons of airports across the United States on a yearly basis and really get a well-rounded view of what airports offer across the United States and, mainly the Southeast. And so we definitely have a lot of experience and talk to a lot of airport owners, business owners and aviation guys and that sort of thing. And so, we really see and we really value the airport for Gadsden and really value the potential that it has for our business and for other businesses alike.
Well, awesome. Yeah. So have you thought about the opportunities in mattress stores? Because from what I understand, that's a pretty big opportunity and could keep you a little more local.
That or storage units. One of the two.
Storage units. Well, I'm going to jump in to the comments and see if we got any good questions in there. And guys, if you do have any questions, throw them in there. We're mainly just kind of having a group conversation. So anything that y'all want to talk about, we can talk about. There's really no agenda here. Mostly, as we've said multiple times, go vote, go talk to your friends at work, go talk to your neighbors. Tomorrow is a big day. So
while you're looking at the comments, Trey, can you tell us a little bit about your fly-in that you've got scheduled for October 1st?
Yes, I worked on that a lot today, actually, getting some of our ticketing software set up and going, some of our food vendors, food trucks. So again, backed by popular demand, we're going to do a fly-in, drive-in at the airport, October 1st, 10 o'clock, and going to have out several food truck vendors out there as well. Snow cones, Frios pops, some local guys to come out. And so just a real family-friendly day for everybody to come out, enjoy aviation, enjoy some good food, and see some cool airplanes, see some cool cars. And then, from 10 to 1, and then we'll transition over to Riverfest there afterwards. So we're excited about the whole economic impact for both of those events for the area for that day. Really have a lot going, October 1st here in Gadsden.
Yeah, I just put those events together the other day as I was looking at the calendar and realizing that, and we're going to have Jason on here in just a little bit. Jason Wilson and a group have brought back Riverfest.
Great.
So they started it last year. Apparently a cold, rainy event, but they got a pretty good lineup. I'm sure he'll give us the spiel. But yeah, that's all happening. So cars and airplanes in the morning, afternoon, and music festival. They're gonna have food trucks and stuff out there.
Yeah, last year's went great. I mean, what was it, Trey? You had 3 weeks to put that together, and it went really, really well.
Yeah, for the most part, it was very hot, so we transitioned it a little bit into the fall this year. But yeah, 2 weeks to throw the thing together. So last year, and everybody had a really great time. A lot of positive feedback. And there's just not a lot. There's not any aviation activities that has taken place here for quite some time, and either any other surrounding airports for that matter. So I think it's a really cool thing, and kids can come out and touch and see airplanes and crawl around in the cockpit, and hopefully we'll have some rides for raffle again this year. Get some people in the air, so we're really excited.
Airport can sell a little fuel.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
oh yeah. Yeah. So and I guess the next step is we got to get an air show put together.
That's right. That's the next step.
So, Dr. Douthat, how do you feel about small airplanes?
Oh, I like small airplanes. I'm actually a pilot. I hadn't flown in quite a few years.
Oh.
I have my license.
Well,
So
you got to get out there. So how do you feel about aerobatics?
I don't know about that now. But Top Gun now, I really like that movie.
Oh, that's too fun. Yeah. So, well, you need to get out there and go flying with.
I'm gonna talk to Trey about it. He's talking about taking me back up.
That T-34 is a beautiful airplane.
It is.
It's just I can't resist. I can't resist the airplane stuff. Sorry.
The beach is beautiful too, right, Trey? How many gallons of oil do you put in that thing?
The idea is you put oil in it, check fuel, so it's kind of backwards from
I got you.
Every other airplane. But
What'd you tell me it was like?
16 gallons of oil and 322 gallons of fuel.
Oh wow!
Well, that airplane was built as a transport, but the T-34 is near and dear to my heart. It was the first small airplane I ever flew in, and then what I went through flight school in. So for the Navy, so it's and his is beautiful. Well, so let's finish this off, and then we're going to jump on with Mr. Fred Zachary, Danny Starnes. I would hope we have the largest turnout in a long time for this election. It has been a long 2 years of lawsuits and negative exposure for Gadsden. What do you think? Because you've been around these parts a little while, Trey. What do you think about the turnout and how much people are paying attention and going to get out there?
I really think that we're going to have record turnouts. I think everybody's ready for something different. We're thirsty. We're hungry for something different. We're ready for something real. Yeah. Ready for something positive, and I think everybody's ready to put the past behind us and move forward in a positive light, and get out there and make a difference and make Etowah County, Gadsden, what it needs to be.
All right. Well,
for our kids to enjoy, and then when they go to college, be able to come back to and enjoy, and not have to move off for other jobs. So
it'll be really interesting to see the percentage of the turnout from this election. I was bored. I got over here. I wasn't bored. Sorry, Trey. I wasn't bored by you, but you guys got you piqued my curiosity, and average numbers across the country are usually less than 20% turnout for mayoral elections. Most of them are down to like 10% for mayor. So it'd be really interesting to see if we get any higher turnouts this year with all the exposure and like you said, the energy that's behind this vote. I think we'll see bigger numbers.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I'm seeing some folks saying they lost sound, but then sound is still loud and clear. I don't know what's going on. we're just going to keep plugging. But well, Trey, man, I appreciate you jumping on with us for a few minutes and taking
Absolutely.
some of your time. And man, all that you've done, can't believe like we're so close to some major stuff going on at the airport. I feel like, and I hope tomorrow gets us headed in the right direction. Obviously, restructuring that airport authority and getting things set up better out there has been a foundational pillar of what we have talked about with Advanced Etowah coming through all this stuff. So hopefully we can. I see some people getting stoked about air show idea. So maybe we can get that done. But we got to have good leadership out there to work with us, because I'm not. I mean, they won't even offer us a decision on lawsuit information or whatever. So much less, I don't think we'll get very far in putting an air show together. But that's just me, just my opinion. But Trey, you have a great night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Just remember, go out and vote. We need numbers. We need people at the polls.
All right, sounds good. All right, we'll see you, man.
See you, Trey.
All right, Trey.
Have a good night.
Yes.
See y'all.
All right.
You know, we've got a world-renowned air show performer within like 30 miles of here, Greg Kuntz.
Greg's a good dude. That guy. Have you seen Greg Kuntz's?
No, I've not.
So Greg actually lands a plane on the top of a pickup truck. He does hardcore aerobatics. He does the ribbon cuttings where he goes inverted, but he's actually got a really cool thing out at Asheville. He's got a grass field, and he has people fly in to his bed and breakfast, and they immerse in doing aerobatic training with him right out of Asheville.
Wow.
And he'll take people up, and he teaches them unusual attitude recovery, so to make them safer in the airplane. But then his big skit that he does as an air show act, he flies the airplane, and it's kind of like a redneck comes out of the crowd and hops in the airplane and takes off, and he does all this crazy stuff, and then they, he can't land, but a redneck can do anything with a pickup truck, and he ends up landing on the back of a pickup truck. It's a pretty
fun show. Yeah,
it is a
fun.
great
He comes
show.
out his coveralls or his overalls, and he's just shaking the airplane around. But he actually utilizes Gadsden a lot, so I see him out there. Usually once or twice a week, he's got a student out at Gadsden using the runways.
Yeah, if you want some refreshers, and if you want to learn some stick and rudder flying, again, something so cool in this area.
We know Greg does a big fly-in once a year, free barbecue, and there's probably 60, 80 airplanes show up. Just free food.
It's pretty good.
Free food showing to a grass strip. Yeah, it's a good time.
That is.
All right, is Fred ready for us? Are you you ready to swap out?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Butch, thanks.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you.
Yes.
We'll see you tomorrow.
A little outro music here.
Do we need all right.
Bye, Butch.
See
Thank
ya.
you so much. See ya.
All right, let me give Mr. Zachary a call. Again, I will say I got a website together for the results for election night tomorrow. We're gonna do the best we can to try and keep that updated. If you go to Advanced Etowah, it's the first thing on the menu. But it's in the Advanced Etowah app. We're gonna do the best we can to get that updated and keep that up.
He's ready.
Keep everybody informed so you can come get information tomorrow night. I don't think we're going to do a live until after the results are in. But, all right, giving Mr. Zachary a call.
Hello.
Hey, Fred, it's Michael. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
We're doing good. You're on with Christy and Jonathan McCormick.
Hey, Fred.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
How you doing?
And
I'm good.
we've got a few folks from Etowah that are in here. About 40-ish is what I'm seeing right now. Um,
Okay.
so, so I know you spend a few minutes of your days thinking about elections and this coming election. Tomorrow's the big day. What are you thinking about as we close out tonight?
Well, I honestly hope that folks will get out and vote and don't be fooled by the less than couture politics. It's just incredibly important that we change the face of what's going on here in our community, because if we don't, we are destined to keep to stay in this downward spiral. Um, as I often say, we've lost population for the last 50 years, and so we just can't have contentious politics and folks bashing each other. And this time, I think the for the most part, we had a character and folk who carried on well, except for one. And you know, I think that's in him, but we don't need that. We don't need it at City Hall. We don't need it at the commission. We don't need it anywhere. We need people who are vested in this community to make it grow, not to a Huntsville or Birmingham per se, but we can have quality in this small community because we have all of the resources necessary to do that. And I didn't hear that from most of the candidates. How do we, whatever, how do we make this happen as a village to come together and put together a plan and execute the plan in such a way that our community becomes better, not just a space where folks can write some checks and hire some friends and uh, give contracts and not have an accounting for what the budget has really spent over the last 10 years, and we can't see any tangible improvement for the millions of dollars that have been spent. And my primary thing, is you all know, is education. The reading scores came out 2021 a few weeks ago. I'm sorry, 21, 22 a few weeks ago, and for third grade, and they were not. And I have all of the respect for the superintendent, and that's why I know superintendent is not the only element in this formula that needs to be fixed. And so when you have a council, a city council, and I'm talking about Gadsden now, where the council is in direct opposition and being mean to the school board and to the children, we have got to move away from that, because without an aim for excellence school district, we don't have very much of a future here in Gadsden. And so you can educate all the kids in the private schools you want to. That is not enough to save us when it comes to building a bench of well educated people aimed for excellence in their education. And one of the things I advocate for is reading by three. Reading start for kids to start reading by 3 years old. These scores that came out, there were two schools, I think, in there. Might have been three, but I know two. Only two schools performed at the level that they should have. And that speaks volumes of where we're going. That speaks volumes of what's going to happen with the Coosa River development and all of the other things that have been named. And I want to say that it's shameful when you have a grown man who claims to have military service and all of that being so dysfunctional in a political event such as a small contest for mayor here in our village, and so disrespectful. And I know politics can be dirty, but at some point you have to lift yourself up out the muck and the dirt, clean it up, and see how we can work together after this political event has ended, as it will tomorrow, and move on with the progress of our schools and our community at the forefront of what we do to develop this little place we call Gadsden.
Mm. Well, I guess I'd say preach.
That's amen. Is there anything else to say?
So let me. What are your thoughts? We were talking about voter turnout and all that we've been through. What are your thoughts? What's your sense of? Are we going to see more folks show up tomorrow than normal in Gadsden, or same old, same old?
Well, I am hopeful that we see more. But when you have one part in the collection uh, being so disdainful and so dastardly in their approach to how they politic, it turns the voters off.
Mm.
So I'm hopeful that the constituents will overlook that and see and rise to the level to see that we don't need scoundrels in our midst to make this thing grow to be better than what it is. I can't say who's going to turn. If it rains, that's another thing. I can't say who's going to turn out. I will say that some different people may turn out this time, and I certainly hope that some of the boxes that have historically uh, uh, stayed together will stay together, but with a different candidate. It's just not the snake charmer approach is not working. The snake oil approach will not work, and giving black folks chicken will not work. So we have got to move beyond this. You know, for the past several elections, we have had the minority controlling the majority through the vote. We need to stop that. And then we lay back and criticize and cannibalize each other because we're looking at what's happening from a very narrow perspective because we didn't vote. We didn't listen to the issue. Well, the issues probably weren't discussed that much as they weren't in this situation, except for a few candidates who tried to discuss the issues, and we are still in a place where we are issueless in terms of everybody. Every candidate should have been discussing infrastructure, education. How do we improve the 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 jobs in our community? And education is the way we improve the jobs. How do we make the community safer? We're 21 policemen short now. So how can we be safe? And you have a community where firemen are being threatened with not being given overtime because they're suing Gadsden for the disdainful conduct that the city has had. How can you be safe when you're treating the people who are on the forefront of providing safety to the village are treated in such a way? I hope that folk will come to the table and cast their vote tomorrow, and just come out and vote. Participate in this civic conversation, and that's voting. That the loudest voice to be heard would be that voice where people voted and voted informed, and that's the best I can do on that.
Well,
That's so true, Fred. We have got real issues and serious problems that not that they can't be overcome, and not that they can't be solved, but the frustration I think people have experienced throughout some of this campaigning is just um, people I think understand now more than ever we have serious issues, and the old way of just divide and conquer and attack just doesn't answer that, and we just need better, and we need more. I think you're absolutely right about that, Fred.
We in the midst of a transformational time.
Right.
Either get them, heretofore you've heard the standard politics. We don't want Gadsden to become a Birmingham. I always did want to become a Birmingham, but we don't want Gadsden to become a Pritchard or
mm,
a 13,000 population chicken plant town. We,
Exactly.
we we want to grow and develop in such a way that we respect historic architecture, that we respect having some semblance of planning in our community, and all of this craziness. Christy, I thought you were running for something for a while, except I knew better. But the attacks and the attacks and the attacks, and you have people in a position where they won't attack back because that does not mold the right kind of apparatus for having us in the right place 10 years from now. So the last we've had two mayors in 40 years. So we have got to. We don't need a mayor that's crowned by Sherman. We need a mayor that is looking out for Gadsden, all of Gadsden, not just a part of Gadsden, but all of Gadsden. A mayor who has a vision and can see whose vision is not to be the bear in the woods trying to claw up everybody as they come through. We need a mayor who has a vision and a purpose. And when we realize that the old kind of campaigning and division doesn't work, then we're going to be moving ahead. And I mentioned the chicken Saturday over at Carver. I thought it was so standard to trying to, back in the day, politicians, particularly white politicians, would bring to the colored community, as it was called back then, half a pint of whiskey and a ham for the vote. That's how I saw that, and it was awful. And to just come out and just put signs everywhere where you haven't asked people to put their signs, put your sign, and just it just makes me angry. But it makes me see that we cannot let the visionless lead us anymore. We just can't do it.
Well, Fred, I don't really know what else there is to say.
Always count on Fred to bring. He's just so well spoken. That's amazing, Fred. Thank you.
I appreciate you jumping on for a few minutes with us, and appreciate
Well,
all you have done. And I hope folks, if you want more of this liveliness, 12:40 a.m. What are you, noon, 5 days a week?
I'm there at noon until 1 o'clock. Noon to 1 o'clock.
Never a dull moment talking with you, Mr. Zachary, and I appreciate it. And I'm glad to have built a friendship with you over these last 2 years, even if it was formed in the midst of a fight against a chicken rendering plant.
Well, out of chaos comes great things,
That's
and
right.
I appreciate you guys inviting me. And let's end the chaos tomorrow.
Yes.
People, go out and vote, and vote. Hold your nose if you have to, but vote with the information that you know is true, and vote for a candidate that is honorable and who has proven that you can't drag her down in the dirt.
Well, thank you, sir. Well said. You have a
right.
good night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, yes, sir. Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Man,
what is he? What is out of chaos comes great things? Is that what he said?
yeah.
You can always count on Fred. He has these sayings that every time you have a conversation with him, you leave and you're like, I wish I wrote that down. He's really good.
I guess we probably should have ended with him. I mean, I don't know where else we're going to go from there, but
Trent.
let's get Trent on.
He's ready, he said, or he was a minute ago.
He's always ready.
Trent's always ready.
He's always ready.
Everyone likes Trent Thrasher, y'all. So this is.
I don't know. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Everybody.
You guys see him?
Everybody likes Trent Thrasher.
He's in 40 places a day. I don't even know how he does it.
I think he fell asleep at the hangar the other day when we were trying to go to the party. Like I think he'd been up since 3 in the morning pouring some.
Probably pouring concrete.
Well, I think he had surgery the day before. He had some. Let's give him a call. All right. Let's let him defend himself.
Get a first-hand take on it.
Hello.
Hey, Trent, it's Michael. How are you tonight?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing good. You're on with Christy and Jonathan, and some other folks here in Etowah County, just having fun on the eve of election night.
Hey, Trent.
Hey, Christy.
So,
Hey, Jonathan.
Hey,
How are
Trent.
y'all?
so we're going to start off with a very personal question that Christy just brought up. So the other night at our party, you were just coming off a surgery. Is that right? Like, that's how hardcore you are.
Friday, yeah. So yeah, that Friday I had sinus surgery. So Jeannie was very worried that I wouldn't make the party, but she knew that I would. So yes, I stuck through it, made it, and Sunday I crashed. So but it was definitely worth it.
Trent came working in the heat, helping to do all that at the party. Didn't tell anybody. He just had surgery. And Trent's amazing, so he's always there.
Why would he complain? I mean, why would he complain? Just
my
get the work done.
How much fun was that party?
It was
a perfect night, a lot of fellowship, a lot of friends, and just to get our gang back. I guess, as Christy said, we got the band back together one final hoorah.
Yeah, and now tomorrow ends the whole saga. Hopefully,
the sanity. Yes. 18 months, or is it 20 months, Christy? How long has this been going on?
It was November 17th, 2020, I think, is when the
I'm
started.
surprised David still takes my phone call after that.
He says he's changing his number, Trent. He literally texted me today because I want him to call in tonight.
I'm very shocked he still takes my phone call.
He says he's changing his number. He's not. He's just kidding. Deep down, he loves it.
So
he does.
Well, and for those of y'all that don't know, that I guess that is sort of an insight if y'all haven't followed the whole history of the rendering plant. But I guess if anybody wants to blame the rendering plant on somebody in the opposition, it all started with Trent Thrasher.
Thank goodness it started with Trent Thrasher.
I definitely hate that, but I do love it. I brought a great, advanced Etowah. I feel like we've done accomplished a lot of things, and we brought a lot of cool people together. I love seeing everybody.
Yeah, so maybe don't look at ADEM records or ADEM permits anymore.
Well, that's something we have to do on occasion. Just because we had to pull so many of them. So yes, that's something we do.
Fortunately, we've learned that Coosa River Keepers is also keeping an eye on those ADEM permits. So,
and that's good. And we love Justin and what she does for our community and our rivers.
So Trent, for those that don't know, Trent Thrasher Construction, what all kind of stuff are you into? What's the majority? Jonathan talked before we got on here that you're kind of everywhere. What exactly do you do?
We are general contractors. So Jenny and I, we have multiple family businesses. So one is general contractor. So we work all over the United States. When I say work all over the United States, we have guys today that's in West Virginia doing a camper store for Miami. I think we have some guys up in Kentucky doing a feed mill. I am sitting on the job now because I had to come do a little meeting at Westbrook. So we're doing a gym for Westbrook. And for those that don't know, that I know that we get kind of thrown under the bus for our little community, but Rainbow City right now has around $20 to $30 million worth of growth going on right now in this little community. That's what's crazy. Our outside little cities that we're called. I was on the phone with Chris earlier today. Glencoe's growing, Etowah's growing, but fortunately not Gadsden. Kind of hit a stopping point, but and that definitely needs to change. But I do love seeing these smaller communities grow. I know Southside's got a Trey's doing some projects out there in Southside. So our communities are growing. Our bigger city is not, and that's all because of leadership. Leadership has fallen off, and and just not with the mayor. We've had council members that definitely had done their job. We've had some, when the render plant started, that showed up and did a few things, but we definitely need to vote for some people that are going to stand, get out, make a difference.
Trent, I don't know if you watched the live that Michael did with Jason Wilson, who we're going to call in a minute, and Chris Robinson and Carrie
Mansion.
Matchin. That was so just watching them, the businesses they've started and what they know. It was exciting. The idea that could be our city council. They could be sitting up there leading us. It's so exciting that what Gadsden could do if people like that were at the helm.
Well, just through Michael, I got to meet Chris, and I actually met Chris today on a job. We are working closely with Chris, Carrie's husband, and got to meet Carrie the other night at the meeting, I love Carrie. I think she will do wonderful. Chris, very business. They are very about business, and I know they'll be glad when this election's over.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for the group, Jason, everybody that's running. I know we all need to talk about the council, because that's the very most important thing of this, is that we need to get out and vote for the right council person to get in there to run the city. I think we need change. Definitely overdue for, all the council, not all, but most need to be changed out.
Well, and that's, one of the reasons, and the live the other night with those three wasn't really here for them as obviously, yeah, they're running for office, but the reality is that they're business owners here. They're investing, and they bring a good perspective to here, I think. And, I've gotten to be friends with them, and it encourages me. And that's been the fun things through all of this is we got a lot of business owners, and it's always an optimistic attitude. And like you said, Trent, you're into a lot of stuff. And optimism is definitely one word that comes to my mind when I think about you, and you're just trudging ahead and doing your thing. And that seems to be the attitude that we really need in this community.
Right. Well, and I don't know what's thrown out there that our group is outsiders. For those that don't know, I was born and raised in Gadsden. I went to school at Litchfield. Just because I live in Southside doesn't mean I'm an outsider. Most of the people that were in this advanced Etowah have businesses that employees live in Gadsden. We spend a lot of money in Gadsden. We are probably 1/3 of the revenue between the 30 people that are in this lawsuit of Gadsden. That's huge, because I'm counting around 2,000 employees that we employ every day that spend money in Gadsden. Jeannie and I are about to build a business in Gadsden. If that shows you what we're about to do, we are about to break ground on a new clinic there.
Okay. Well, and while you're bringing that up, I kind of wanted to close on Clinic 5, because again, through all this, I've learned about all sorts of cool stuff going on around here. Talk real quick about, obviously, you got the construction stuff, but Clinic 5, it's a pretty cool little, it's a great service that's being provided to this community. Can you talk for a quick second about that?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Very proud of where those girls have gone with the clinic. They've reached out they're asked all over all over the United States now, but they treat for addiction. They treat for alcohol, opiates, and they also treat at the county jail. So we started going into the county jail about 5 years ago with a program which has grants, and so they actually go in and do. When we started that program with Scott Hassel, I think we had a 70-80% success rate with people coming off of opiates and going back to their jobs, taking care of their family, and going back to normal society. That's huge, y'all. With overdoses of being around 110, I think it's 110,000 people died last year with overdose. They are doing amazing things there. And I look at it every day. I see all the good things that come out of there. Right, we're not the right spot for everybody, but we are the right spot for most everybody. If you're willing to help yourself, we are the spot for you. Clinic 5 is definitely the spot.
Well, very, very cool, guys. I'd encourage you to go check out. I didn't know anything about Clinic 5, but they're doing some really important work. Everybody talks about the drug issues in our community, and they're part of the solution.
We are, and Jeannie always tries to stop the stigma on drugs and stuff like that as far as getting through recovery. Everybody knows someone that's had some kind of struggling with some kind of addiction. Just go by, see them, talk to them. If you got somebody that needs help, just stop in. One of the girls will be happy to help you.
Well, Trent, thanks for jumping on, and thanks for all that you have done. Hard to believe tomorrow is here. So,
oh, hey, I love you guys. It's kind of a sad, bittersweet ending here. That our text, our friendship, but we'll always have a huge friendship, and definitely love you guys.
Well, love you too, brother, and we will look forward to whatever the next chapter is. So,
I'm sure there'll be another one. Christy will keep us involved. I'm sure. Jonathan's our cool kid of the place. He's our rock star.
I know. I'm sure y'all. I'm sure y'all get a text like, "Hey,
all right.
Hey, y'all have a good night.
All right,
happy
you too.
Election Eve, I guess.
Yes, sir. Same to you. Have a good night.
Thanks, Trent.
All right, see
So
ya.
I see one question while I'm jumping on to grab Jason. We got Bernard Spakes. Am I pronouncing that right? Sorry if I'm. Where do you all live? So guys that are on, if you want to drop it in the comments, I think we've got a few Gadsden residents. I for one am a Rainbow City resident. So where do you guys live?
I live in Horton Bend. I live in the county, but the business we're in right now is in Gadsden. So I own my firm owns the building on Broad Street. Love to be a part of the downtown here, and multiple people that I employ here live in Gadsden. We pay a lot of taxes to Gadsden. So
yeah, and you're an Altoona boy.
I'm an Altoona, Alabama resident, still in Etowah County, barely, right on the edge of Blount County, but own Evoke Aviation there at the Gadsden Airport. So we've got a lot of employees, and
it's in Gadsden.
How many employees are you up to now?
22 today.
Woo!
Could be more tomorrow, could be less.
Someone in trouble?
Somebody's always in trouble, right?
So, and Bernard, I don't know if you missed, Trent was just on. Trent, like he said, he grew up in Gadsden, and now, of course, he's got businesses in Gadsden and employees. And what did he say? He figured about 2,000 employees.
2,000.
Between a lot of the folks that have been involved. We talked earlier, we had Phil Williams. We've addressed this a few times. I taught my mother-in-law, born and raised and has spent most of her life in this community, born in Gadsden. She's lived in Southside. She's lived in now Rainbow City. And I think she's lived in Hooks Bluff. Sorry if I don't remember exactly. But, we were talking the other day, she always thinks of herself as a Gadsden, she's somebody in Gadsden. She just moved to Rainbow City because she liked the house that was over there and because we happen to be over in that general area for now. So, I don't know, for what that's worth, guys,
we're so interconnected,
so small, yeah.
Right? There's a couple of houses there in Altoona that are actually split by the Etowah County, Blount County line. So your living room is in Blount County and your bedroom's in Etowah. So
I bet they try to make you pay taxes in both.
You probably have to pay taxes in both, if I had to guess. Yeah.
I think I'd move that house. All right. Is Jason ready?
Yes, he's ready.
All right. Let's.
Hey, man.
Hey, Jason. Thanks for we're running behind, but that seems to be the way of things. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Hold on just a second. There you go. I was watching the live feed. I wanted to reverb there. I'm doing great, man. I'm actually in Lowe's right now, so I apologize if it cuts out.
Hey, keep spending the money in Gadsden, right?
You never stop,
yeah,
Jason.
Well, I just left a catering event that Current Market and Deli did for Lions HR, and now I'm
at Lowe's buying some accessories for our Sprinter van that we just bought for our Lightning Laundry business that's in Rainbow City. So, and then I've got to go to Southside tonight to fire up our pizza ovens in the new Southside Pizza Blackstone Bake Shack over there in Southside. So I'm all over the county today.
I gotta point it out. You are a pro at dropping the businesses in there, just starting the conversation out. But yeah, laundry, pizza, man, you're busy, and Riverfest. We were talking about the air show here with Trey. Or the fly-in. What's going on with Riverfest?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. In my free time, I like to plan concerts, but we're excited about it. Drake White's going to be playing, and a really talented guy out of the Muscle Shoals area his name's Anderson East. He was nominated for a Grammy last year, I think, or year before last, for the best roots performance, and then local legend John Player is going to be opening up for them. We're going to have food trucks out there. Going to have a big tailgate area because it is on a Saturday, October the 1st. So we'll have some big screens out there with the Auburn and Alabama games on. They're both away games. So yeah, just trying to put some energy back in this place, you
Love
know.
it.
And
Yeah, love it, Jason. That's great.
And just to be clear, so this is not, the city's not involved in this. You and others are doing Riverfest. So it's the same brand, but new blood.
Yeah. So the way that all came together, we talked about it on our live the other day with Chris Robinson and Carrie, but you know, the city of Gadsden never put Riverfest on. The Chamber of Commerce was the ones that originally put Riverfest on, or the ones that managed it for some 20 years, and the city sponsored it. And then right around the time I got on the Chamber Board of Directors, so this would have been like 2013, I guess, or 14, the Chamber decided that it was just too much of a liability for them. And then you had several of these other concert festival style things that had popped up in the region. I think Rock the South had just started, and some other regional stuff. So the attendance had kind of dwindled a little bit, and it was just a logistical monster. You know, people that have lived here all their lives will remember. I mean, they shut down all 4 lanes of Rainbow Drive, essentially from City Hall all the way down to Chili's. 2 massive stages, one at each end of the road there. I mean, it was just a big project. And so the chamber decided they weren't going to do it anymore. And they were kind of leaning on the city to take it over, and the city declined and said, no, we're not going to do it. And so the chamber said, well, we're just going to give you guys the trademark. We don't want it anymore. We're just going to sign it over to the city. Y'all do whatever you want to with it. And so the city has maintained the trademark, but they haven't obviously used it since 2014. So last year, a group of us got together and said, hey, let's put this concert together, and we're doing it right in front of River Rocks Landing there, right on the river at the boat launch under 759. And I said, well, maybe I can talk to the mayor and see if we can use the Riverfest brand, logo or whatever, the name Riverfest, you know, since no one else is using it. And so luckily the council agreed to let us use it. And so this year we're back for year number 2. And it's myself and Chris Robinson and the leadership at River Rocks Landing, Wes Long and Carson Dabbs. So yeah, we're just 3 guys putting on a rock show.
Well, isn't that the way most good things start?
Absolutely.
So,
and I love the idea. You and I have talked a lot about the idea of trying to tie it in with a fly-in or a proper air show. And you know, you think about, and another thing you and I talked about the other night is this Alabama the Alabama 650, these kayakers that paddle 650 miles all the way down to the Gulf Coast. Oddly enough, the night of our concert right there on the river, these guys are going to be paddling through, and it was just a coincidence. It'll be right around the time, so they'll get a great show. Hopefully it'll give them a little more energy to keep paddling, paddling past a rock concert. But you know, I love the idea of being able to tie all those things in together. You know, you've got an air show, you've got a music festival, you've got, you know, these water activities. I mean, that's something that people would travel to see, and not every other community is doing that, you know.
That is for sure. So tomorrow, elections. I know you haven't been paying any attention, hardly even involved. What do you think about? We've talked some about voter turnout, and what do you hedging your bets on for tomorrow?
Well, man, as far as me personally goes, I hope I like to, as much as I like to talk, I also like action, and for me personally, I'm just hoping that people have seen. I told somebody the other day, I hope I've met everybody's highest expectation. If I haven't met their highest expectation, I just hope that they see how hard I've been fighting to accomplish progress in this community, and hopefully it's enough to give me one more chance to do it. And selfishly, I'll say, after the last 4 years, the the thought of being able to work with some younger, energetic members that are candidates that are running for council and mayor, it's really exciting to me. It'll be I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't be disappointed, to go this far and then not get a chance to work with some of these next generation leaders.
Well, and along that lines, you and I were talking the other day about, your fear of, the rendering plant was a galvanizing event, brought a lot of folks together, clearly, got a lot of people, that weren't paying attention like me. But one of your fears is that attention quickly dissipates.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've seen it happen before. I mean, heck, it happens not just in this community, but all over the country. These people do a terrible job, or they, make huge mistakes, or they make huge blunders. And we live in a 24-hour news cycle world. That's where we are. So it's amazing to me, like Mr. Zachary said, about how these campaigns have been run in just this election. It's insane to me that people aren't more aware and don't have a longer memory. But the fact is, in a lot of cases, they don't. People get away, elected officials get away with a lot. And I just hope that this community is there's enough new voters and fresh faces and people who are tired of the same old thing, just younger versions of the same thing we've always had, and they're ready to make a change. And hopefully they out and show up. And we're lucky in Gadsden. I mean, we don't deal with 5-hour long wait lines at the polls. It takes me, I go to the downtown Gadsden Civic Center there to vote, and that's a 2-district voting precinct. So you got District 5 and District 4 represented there. So there's a lot of volume through that. I mean, I go in and out and vote in 15 minutes. It doesn't even take 15 minutes sometimes. So we're fortunate in this community that we do have a relatively smooth and painless voting process. So I hope people just make time in their day tomorrow to swing by there. I mean, the polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. At some point in that 12-hour period, you can find 10, 15 minutes to swing in there, throw your vote in the machine, and go on about your day. And it could have a tremendous impact on the next 4 years of this community. 15 minutes of your time can change the next 4 years of this community. And that's, hopefully people understand that.
Well, and I'd go so far as to say that tomorrow is not just for this next 4 years, but I mean it could be something that changes for decades in the direction that this community goes.
No doubt about it. Yeah. I mean, you can't overstate the importance of tomorrow as far as the future of Gadsden. Again, we haven't been in this situation as a community ever. Where we're talking about a new mayor, a new economic development director, because obviously Frankie's retiring, a new finance director, Ms. Rosser said she'll be retiring when Sherman leaves. So, and then is at least 3 new members of the Gadsden City Council. That's guaranteed. And then, potentially as many as 5 or 6 or heck, I guess 7 new members. I don't count myself in that, but yeah, we know we're getting 3 because, my counterpart, Thomas Worthy, announced his candidacy for mayor. So he had to vacate his District 3 seat. Deverett Williams chose not to run again. Johnny Cannon chose not to run again. So those 3 seats are going to have new faces in them no matter what. And I mean, if you think about that strategically from a political standpoint, I mean, that's 1 vote away from a majority flip in the council, just in those 3 vacant seats. And then you got some really big races in the other 4 seats too. So Gadsden's never been here. We've never had this opportunity to have as many as 5 or 6 new faces on the council and a new mayor and a new economic development director and a new finance director. I mean, it's a real turnover in the front office, so to speak.
Well, Jason, I think we're going to let you finish your shopping and get out, and I guess you're not doing any more campaigning tonight, or are you with your?
Yeah, I'm going to try and knock out a couple of these things, and then I'll get up early in the morning. It's no secret; most people know that I absolutely despise yard signs, and so I've not put out a single sign this entire campaign. But I am going to go in the morning. I've got a few in the garage from 4 years ago, and I'm going to go put up a couple of signs out in front of the polling locations. I got my dad acting as a poll watcher downtown for me, so I'll be running back and forth between the Tabernacle and downtown, and hopefully it's all going to come to a head by this time tomorrow. I think we're going to know what the future of Gadsden's going to be for a long time.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed you don't have T-shirts made that say "Vote for me. I hate yard signs," because I think you'd gain a lot of attention. Based
what
on
I'm thinking is, maybe I'll wait and win the election and then get some T-shirts made that say "Thanks for voting for me."
I'd wear that, Jason. I would.
There you go.
All right. Well,
Awesome.
Jason, you have a good night, and we will be talking to you tomorrow. Good luck in your race, and good luck with your Sprinter van.
Man, if I hadn't had a chance to say this publicly to all of you guys, thank you for what you did, and thank you for what you continue to do for
right back
this
at you,
community.
Jason. Right back at you. You've
All
been
right.
amazing.
Y'all have a good
all
night.
this. Thanks.
All right.
Thank
See you.
Thanks.
Bye.
See y'all later.
All right. Well, we were running late, and David's getting more and more frustrated. I'm
change
sure.
his phone number.
I got till 9. He's getting a new number. All right.
We'll get his other number.
We're getting Joe. Joe's next.
We'll get his
Taylor.
other numbers.
Julie will give it to him.
Yeah, Julie will give it to him. You can't hide, David. Don't even try. We're neighbors.
Right. So for those of y'all, if any of you, if you've really been listening to all of this, that's awesome. But if you missed it, so I am. Actually, this is going to be a pretty good team of folks working to get poll results tomorrow night and get it over. If you just go to advancedetowah.com, we've got it in the main menu to get over to the results page. I built that this morning, so hopefully it works. We'll see. I haven't tested it to withstand the chaos of an election, but we're going to try and be pulling numbers as they come out of the precincts before they make it back to City Hall. Obviously, City Hall will, they're the end all be all. They will do the official, but we're going to try and pull those numbers so everybody kind of has some idea what's going on. And of course, if there are issues, we're going to try and get the information and get it out as best we can tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. So you ready for Joe?
Joe's ready.
Mr. Joe Taylor.
Mayor?
Joe, you there?
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, not much. How are you tonight? Sorry we're a little late on getting to you.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that. I'm sitting in front of City Hall asleep, but no, I'm kidding. I was actually just
just sitting in the parking lot, making sure I had good signal.
Well, we appreciate you jumping on. And I guess we'll start it out. You know, you've been pretty outspoken over the last well, I guess I'd say 2 years. But
Not me.
you've been pretty outspoken, certainly about the campaign and everything that's been going on. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking about as we go into tomorrow?
Well, I think that tomorrow is going to be a pivotal point in Etowah County. I think that we've tried to polarize groups by saying insiders, outsiders, and the truth is that the thing about Etowah County is that we are small in land mass, which means that we are all elbow to elbow neighbors, and to me that's the sign that we need to all not only get along, but we all have to find some sort of common ground and establish a leadership base. And I think that's the failure that we've had up until now. Rainbow City has always been seen a little bit as that bedroom community, or Southside's being seen as the bedroom community. The truth is, we carry quite a bit of the population of Etowah County, and so does Glencoe, Hopes Bluff, Etowah, and we need and want Gadsden to be successful, and we're watching that regression of a city that we love. And a portion of that is caused by the loss of industry. We know that. We can't act like Republic Steel and Goodyear didn't take away from the strength of this area, but we also can't continue to blame it on that. There's some point where we're going to have to stop saying this is what caused it and say this is how we're going to repair it, and we're going to move forward. And the only way to do that is to change out the leadership I guess in all of the city halls, and I think most of that's been done. We're down to the last place, and that's the city of Gadsden. The city of Gadsden gets to go out and literally create their destiny tomorrow.
Mm.
Joe, talk a little bit about the round table event that Heather put together and the excitement about. I'd never seen that many of our elected leaders all in the same room, holding hands, talking about ways we can accomplish more. It was really exciting to see.
No punches thrown.
And Joe was, and Mayor Taylor was there, Mayor Snyder was there. It was just really exciting to see, from local to the federal, all these elected leaders in there. Again, I don't remember the last time I've seen all of those leaders in one room excited about what Gadsden can do, and having someone at the table that was talking about ways we can work together.
Well, I think that is the beauty of what happened, is that everybody sitting in that room had a voice. There was no overshadowing. There was no one that was bullying anyone else. Congressman Adderholt, I've grown to know him and actually appreciate the fact that he's that guy that sits there and he's not waiting to talk. He's actually listening, which is amazing from a politician. You had Heather facilitating this thing, but you also, what she was able to do is just to bring up a topic and then turn around and turn it loose and say, hey guys, what do you think now? And, and we had not only Ken Robertson from the GAA stating, these are the things that need to be changed and this is why. Not just let's change this. He didn't have some asinine idea of how we were all in a power struggle. We were literally in there to brainstorm and solve problems. And I think you had a group of people. I've never seen that many political appointed or politically elected people in the same room that honestly felt like they were there to solve problems and to be allowed to give input. Myself and Dana being the two mayors that were in the room, we decided early on that, we were going to cooperate. We continuously call ourselves sister cities. The same thing goes with the city of Gadsden. We know that if we're not willing to lock arms with the city of Gadsden, we know that there are two cities that are regressing right now, and that's according to the Census Bureau. We don't have to act like this is not dirty language when I say the city of Gadsden is losing population. That's called the truth.
Right.
And watching Gadsden regress, for me to, for people to believe that myself and Mayor Snyder are sitting down here chuckling, or laughing at that, we're not. We're wringing our hands, worried sick that our friend to the north is losing its strength.
Mm-hmm.
And for us in this area, especially with all the things that are going on. Trent mentioned a minute ago, and I hate to go back and correct Trent, but I love to. He said we had $20 or $30 million worth of expansion and growth going on in Rainbow City. He was a little off. It's actually just a scotch north of $58 million worth of growth. Wow. And strength and expansion that's going on in Rainbow City alone. I don't know what Dana's got. I don't have time, to meddle in Dana's business, but at the same time, she knows that she can give me a call and say, hey, let's have a movie night between our two cities. And I'm like, heck yeah, let's go do that. That sounds like a fun time. And that's what we want with Gadsden. I mean, we're spending so much time saying that the surrounding municipalities are outsiders. The truth is, the city of Gadsden needs us so bad.
Mm.
And I hate to sound like the guy that's preaching here, but it's a good sermon to say that I did live 50 some odd of my years in the city of Gadsden. I worked there for 40 something years, and I paid taxes for all of that time and ran 7, I think, incorporations or LLCs inside the city of Gadsden. And there's nobody that's a bigger cheerleader for the city of Gadsden. I have never said anything negative about that city, nor will you ever catch me doing that, because to do that makes me a fool. And I refuse to be a fool in light of that, what I just said.
Yeah. Well, and I think that goes back to, we were talking a little bit earlier. I mean, I just, when we moved here full time, coming off active duty and talking to a realtor, we kind of knew the general area, but to us, we were looking at the general area of town, which to us was, hey, we looked at a house that was in Gadsden, and then we we saw a house that was in Rainbow City, and we happened to like the house more in Rainbow City.
Right.
It never really occurred to me. It's hard for me to even think like, that I'd be some enemy to I mean, I live, 2.5. Well, if you're sitting at City Hall, you're 2.5 minutes from the border to Gadsden. So it's kind of a crazy.
Well, and that's the
Well,
mentality that we just, that is the old way of divide people and conquer. That's how you win an election. That's how you lead people. And it's just an old, stale conversation that's dysfunctional and doesn't belong anymore. And we need leaders like you, Mayor Taylor, that get that. And I'm excited to see some new leaders who get that, so that we can move on to what's next, because
that's right.
we keep doing the same thing. We're going to keep getting the same thing.
That's right.
Well,
I had an engineer tell me, the other day, that one of the measurements of, I said, what's the distance between me and the city of Gadsden? What's the distance between me and the city of Etowah and Southside? And, we were actually speaking in the contiguousness, and I think, I know that Christy understands this, that we're contiguous to the mega industrial site, which allows for us to be able to annex in. And I said, what's that distance? What's that measurement? And we were talking about inches and blah, 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 and whatever. And he said, it's a moment away.
Mm.
And I thought, my gosh, can we even hear ourselves say that Rainbow City is a moment away from Gadsden. Right. And Gadsden is a moment away from Rainbow City. And the first time that I spoke after the rendering fiasco, I spoke to that Gadsden City Council, and I first just begged them and showed respect to them by saying that I didn't come here with any bold statement. I came here and I'm literally stepping lightly on your ground, on your turf, or whatever you want to call it, but out of absolute and pure respect. But the truth was that I had left City Hall and past Martin and past Meadowbrook Church and down Rainbow Drive and moving north to pull into that City Hall. And do you know that I never knew when I left Rainbow City and entered Gadsden? Because the truth was they were a moment away. And just to put that in perspective, we literally are connected so close, so tight, that we don't know where they start and where we end. And until we understand that recycling the same stale leadership over and over again, we know that's the definition of insanity, but it's so much more than that. It's the fact that if we do it, it's not just insane, it is debilitating. You know, insanity just means that we run around maybe possibly tearing our clothes off or doing something wild, you know, like climbing a telephone pole. But the truth is, at the point that we just forget who we are and we allow for our cities to go to disrepair and regress in a way that we can't change or turn that tide, I'm telling you, that's the failure of the citizenry. You know, we want to talk about leadership, but, you know, in Rainbow City decided to make a change. After 16 years of having a very fine mayor, a very adequate mayor, they decided that they would put me in place. And when they did, I had to make the decision of what do I do from here? I had no idea what to do, but I did know one thing. I had to apply the things that God had given me to allow me to turn our city in a direction of growth, in a direction of prosperity, and to give light to the ideas of the people that live in my city. And that is exactly what we're going to do. And that is exactly what needs to happen in the city of Gadsden, and I believe that it's going to.
Well, good thing you got an easy one tossed at you a couple of days in with this rendering plant stuff. Made everything easy.
And I tell the story all the time. You know, at the very first airport authority meeting, we were standing outside, and someone said, "Where is the mayor of Rainbow City?" And I didn't know he was. And Joe spoke up. He goes, "I am right here." And he got in, and he fought, you know, vehemently with us. And Joe, thank you so much for everything you've done.
That same guy, I don't know if you remember this, Christy, but that same guy said, "Why aren't you in that room?" I said, "Trust me, partner, I'm about to be inside that room." And he called my name from that big steel door and said, "Is the mayor of Rainbow City here?" And I said, I turned around, winked at him, and when I walked out, he said, "How did you know that?" I said, there was no chance they were going to keep me out of that room.
Right.
Nice.
And I think that, again, we're just in a place. I hate to hold David up, but I like for him to have to wait on me.
We'll tell him that.
But I just want to say that, you know, Fred said something just a minute ago in talking about our, you know, how critically important this is. And, you know, and he mentioned the fact that we've got to put people in there that are looking out for the betterment of this of this area and of this city. You know, we are not separated. You know, you know, whether it's black, white, yellow, brown, none of that stuff has anything to do with what we're doing here. The truth is, this is our home. This is where we live. This is the place where we raise our children and go to church. And I had a police officer the other day that was helping a person that was mute by texting with her so that she could get food at one of our restaurants. That is what we do, because she was a white lady. He is a guy that was born in Syria and a police officer in Rainbow City. I'm sorry, guys, that you're gonna have to really, prove to me that we don't have a diverse area right now. We're strong in who we are. I mean, we are. If we want to talk about the colors of the rainbow, my gosh, we've proven that we have the colors of the rainbow. We're everything that we can possibly do to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. We're poised for economic development. And when are we going to say, let's put an economic developer in the office of mayor in the city of Gadsden? When are we going to put a business person in that mayor's position? When are we going to go out into that council and start picking people that are literally out there signing the bottom right-hand part of a check versus the back of a check? There's nothing wrong with a person that's cashing their paycheck. But at some point, we've got to find those business people that have decided to level up, that have decided to elevate our area by saying that we're going to invest. Trent Thrasher, 5 different businesses in this area. David Chadwick, the largest employer in Rainbow City. And people want to call us outsiders. Do you know who we employ?
What's exciting, Mayor, is we've got all these people stepping up to the plate in Gadsden saying that can do that, saying, I'll run.
That's right.
I'll lead.
That's right.
We have this opportunity of people who can sign, who do that, who sign the bottom right-hand corner of the check, going, yeah. I'll do it. I want to give back. So it's exciting. Right. It's let's try something different. Let's try something new.
That's right.
Yeah.
And and that's one of the things that I did 2 years ago, is I went to Terry John Calhoun, who is a wonderful man. And he was the former mayor of Rainbow City. And I said, Terry John, I don't know you. You don't know me, but I want you to know that I'm running for mayor. I'm not running against you. I'm running for Rainbow City. I'm running because this is going to be my way to serve my community. And, and he and I decided that day that we wouldn't attack each other, that we wouldn't hurt each other, that we wouldn't offend each other. And in doing so, we ran what I have to believe, quite possibly, was the cleanest campaign I've ever seen in this area. And I'm talking about a big area. What we found out in doing that was that people would choose who they wanted, who they needed. And, I've since talked to him and he said it was time, wasn't it? And I had a hashtag during that my social media and all that was going on. And it said just simply, hashtag it's time. Well, it is time. This is Gadsden prime time. And I'm excited for them. Anyone that's out there that believes that Joe Taylor is against the city of Gadsden forgets and I know one person did forget that I rode that fire truck for 25 years. And I didn't just ride around town. I saved lives. I brought calm to chaos, and I protected the dignity of the people that lived in my territory in that city. And I love those people. They still call me by name. They still know that I love that city. And I'm telling you, if it's not time for us to put somebody in that loves that city, and I promise you there's a candidate that loves that city, and she is no doubt going to do everything that she possibly can to make that place great. And I'll say this before y'all run me off. There is no doubt that those other people love that city. And I have to believe that, or I would honestly lose my hope in what we're trying to do. But I promise you, there's somebody that's been prepared her whole life. And it's time. And that's all I can say about that.
Well, I think that's a good way to end it, Mayor.
Great, Mayor. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your time so much. I'm sure we'll see you sometime tomorrow as results start pouring in.
That sounds good.
All right.
Hey, tomorrow's a big day.
Big day, Mayor.
I'm excited for all my friends in Gadsden.
Me too.
All right. Well, Mayor, get out. Call all your friends in Gadsden. Let them know to go vote.
Hey, I've done my part. I promise you that.
Well, thank you, sir. You have a good night.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
Bye.
y'all. See you, Christy.
Bye, Mayor.
All right. Hey, I saw a question for folks that aren't nearby. Really, even if you are nearby, if you want to keep up with what's going on with the election numbers tomorrow night, we are going to do the best we can. Remember, we are not professional, in case you can't tell. We're not professional broadcasters with a giant news network to pull all those facts in, but we're doing the best we can to get it coordinated so we can actually start getting numbers as they get posted at the different precincts. We'll pull it together. That website on the screen, it'll give you a total for each candidate and then an actual breakdown per precinct. So we're going to do the best we can. Of course, none of that is official, and we don't want to take responsibility if we put some wrong numbers on there. But we are going to do the best we can to check and triple check, and then obviously stick around and get some final results and see where we are probably about this time tomorrow night. Hopefully earlier if everything goes smoothly. And then, and if there are any issues, as best we have the information, we'll jump on and explain, if a runoff does occur or if there's machine issues or something like that, whatever information we can get, we'll try and jump on and explain kind of what's next with all that. So with that being said,
drum roll.
Let's jump on with our last caller. Give me just a second. All right. We'll see if he hadn't changed his number already.
Hello.
There he is.
Hey, good evening, boss.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. We were a little worried you'd already changed your phone number.
No, that happens at 10 o'clock.
Gotcha. You knew we'd run late, so you gave it a little bit more time. Well, we appreciate you jumping on, Mr. Chadwick.
Thank you, David.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all. You guys had a good show tonight. And great participation, and so hopefully things are going to go well tomorrow, and we'll get an outcome and get a strong voter turnout, and hopefully the people of Gadsden are going to vote this thing the right way and make some real change for our community.
Well, so did you think we were talking about how we should all blame Trent for all of this? Going back 2 years ago, did you think you'd be here doing this?
Well, like we said many times, Michael, it's not a matter of situation of where we're at now. It's how we got here and the frustration of why it took so long to get this thing over with. But I mean, obviously, it was a lot of obviously hard work, blood, sweat, and tears from all of you guys and the whole staff. And I mean, I'm just going to be proud of a bunch of people getting things done for the community. I mean, that wasn't about any one of us individuals. Pardon anyone's pun and excuses. No one made any money off this. I know, Christy, you're supposed to make a war chest, but I mean, I don't think either one of us made a dime out of this situation. But I mean, we sure fought a good fight, and we got this thing done for the citizens of Etowah County. That's for sure.
Well, I know that that sentiment kept me in. Didn't know any of you but Jonathan before we got into all this mess. I don't know how I'd feel if I could go back and talk to myself 2 years ago, but man, it's been a ride, and to see everybody come together. Which was fun at the party the other night, and obviously lots of folks that also couldn't make it, but to see an entire community come together, it's just, I don't know, it's felt pretty special to me to be part of.
Well, I agree totally. Like we said the other night, it was awesome. So the only thing, that I can kind of add, I think, like I said, the folks, from Fred, thank goodness I didn't have to follow Fred tonight. Man, I wouldn't answer the phone. But from Fred to the rest of the people you had on, it is amazing to me, unfortunately, the world we live in today, the short memory we all tend to have. I would just challenge all the voters in Gadsden to make sure to remember what got us here and why we're here. I am all about, let's move forward. Let's get prosperity moving back. and all the positive things. But if we don't hold the people accountable that God has put in this position, the thing is, those should be repeated. And we all know that. To Jason's point, it is a very, in my opinion, a good thing that 3 of the 7 minimum council members, women, will be turning over to some degree. So that is a good thing. Change is a good thing, especially when it's an opportunity to put people in that truly care about their constituents that they are representing. I think that's the biggest thing we see today, in my opinion, that didn't happen. Truly, in my opinion, I think anybody watching those council meetings, how anybody could say that did happen would be a travesty and an understatement.
Well, and that's
because
what was. Go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I was just in shock, and I looked at you, Christy, the first 2 or 3 weeks, and I said, "Please tell me this isn't the Twilight Zone. This can't be happening."
Right.
It was just so dysfunctional, and no one's. Here we are. At that point in time, we had 1,000, 1,500 people up there, demonstrating peacefully. And we're told to sit down and shut up, or we're going to call the police. Are you kidding me? All we were asking for is an opportunity to talk to you about the situation, and that's what we never got. And that's the reason I find it's somewhat disingenuous of the city, legal counsel when they kept talking about lawsuits and lawsuits. What other choice do we have?
Right.
Because they wouldn't, have a conversation with us to discuss these issues. So we had no other choice. And, to that point, even, when you have the facts and the law on your side, you usually get pretty good outcomes. And correct me if I'm wrong here, boss. Did we lose anything?
No, sir. We sure did.
I think we can just leave it at that. We can leave that whole lawsuit crap we've been hearing for the last 6-8 months. We can leave that to bed because there again we didn't ask for anything, which we could have. We're not going to. We want this thing to be over with, and hopefully it finally is. And let's move on. Let's move this community forward. Let's grow this community. And that's another thing, in my opinion, we don't even look at. I mean, look at what they give us, Jonathan. What do we have, 3 weeks to put this thing together for our presentation, for the GAA board back in last August?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Okay, and what did we raise? Wasn't it like $40 or $50 million capital?
$111 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's this crazy number. I mean, and that was done by just
3 weeks.
Business leaders asking people to engage, and every one of them knew what a great idea this was because it's a diamond in the rough. And that's what makes me so frustrated when you tie it back to the leadership. If we've got leadership, what in the hell have they been doing then? Because we did this in a matter of 3 weeks. You're telling me your IDA director and your mayor and your rest of people can't find a way to make that be successful? What economic impact would that have been to the citizens of Etowah County?
Well, and it was telling to me. I mean, when that just kind of started getting whispered out there, the next thing I know, pretty much every meeting we were having, you were telling me about another phone call and another phone call and another phone call from people that were interested in moving, expanding, doing all sorts of stuff out there. So the demand's there.
To your point, Michael, it's crazy. I mean, and there again, Christy can attest, it wasn't a situation where this was some fictitious numbers we dreamed up. That was a solid plan with bank drafted letters of commitments of financial wherewithal to build all this.
This was the University of Alabama Small Business Development Center who certified we had raised $111 million in capital.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not just some made-up number. Yeah.
As we go into this election tomorrow, those things have got to mean something, to the constituents in every district, and within the city limits of Gadsden. You've got to think about that and say, my gosh, these people are right. We do need a complete wholesale change and make sure we put leaders in place who are going to lead us for us, not for their benefit, not for their, only they're the ones that benefit from the situation, but for the community itself, period. I didn't even know. I asked my HR department today, Julie did. I've got 161 people out of my associate bank that lives in the city of Gadsden. We voted tomorrow. Hopefully, we've made it very easy for them. I know Julie's actually organizing if someone doesn't have a ride or transportation or funds or whatever is available, let them off early from work. We want to make sure those 161 that are all voting eligible get to the polls and vote. So I can't encourage everyone enough. Vote change tomorrow that best represents you. If that's the case, I think we'll be very happy with the outcome.
Right. Well, and just to set the record straight, your plan after tomorrow with the outcome is you're going to sit out there in your office in Rainbow City and call the shots from the behind the scenes, right? That's your plan.
As everyone knows me that knows me well, I don't want to call any shots.
No.
I don't have anything to do with politics whatsoever.
So that takes
drag him into the politics.
So let's talk about your real motivation in why you want everybody to go vote tomorrow and you want this thing to be done.
So I will leave him alone.
Well, I was between that and an uninterrupted Alabama football season.
There we go. It's in time, Michael. It's in time.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that today, and like David's being a little. Yeah, I think he wants it done because he doesn't want any of this runoff junk to get in the way of what he really cares about, right?
Like I said, we want to make sure that we move forward. We've talked long enough and nauseate them of the length of this time of all the negative things. We've fixed the problem. Let's move forward. Let's grow our community in a positive manner so that everyone will be proud to call this place home. You know, and I'm not looking at it from a Rainbow City standpoint or a Etowah standpoint. It's Etowah County, period. You know, I like Christie. I live in Horns Bend. You know, I've never been able to vote in a Gadsden City election. That doesn't mean I don't care. You know, we need to make sure we put people in place that have the best interests of the people they represent.
The idea, David, someone like you who's put so much and didn't have to of your resources and your money and your time and your heart into saving and fixing Gadsden. I mean, and the idea that you're an outsider because you can't vote in this election when you've invested so much into it's just a nonsensical argument, and the only reason it's being made is because those are the conversations that have worked in the past, maybe that they think is the only one that can win, and that's just it's old and it's stale, and it's time to talk about what really matters. And Fred did a great job talking about real problems that we can deal with, but we can solve them. We just have to get people in office who can do it.
Just get some new people that want to do that. I mean, I challenge these same constituents, everyone, go to any community from Boaz, Albertville, especially Gunnersville, Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, anywhere, and see how these communities, small and large and medium, are all thriving and growing. That's not happening by chance. And why are we still sitting here stuck, if you would, in this malaise? There again, it's not happening by chance. Vote that in tomorrow, and let's get this thing growing in a positive direction for everyone.
Right.
You know, it's that simple. I mean, it's like you said, Christy, there's nothing for me other than the fact I just felt in the bottom of my heart that this was not needed in this community. And there again, everyone, as you know, I served on the IDA for 6 years when Mike McCain was the president there, and a wonderful man. And we didn't deal with transparency issues then.
Right.
We were very clear. We were very transparent. And that's just the way he ran the IDA. Drastically different than it's ran today. But on the same token, look at the growth that was there. Now, I understand the Goodyear situation and the steel plant now, but there again, none of the stuff that we developed in a 3-week plan had anything to do with the Goodyear steel plant. That was just growth opportunities from current business leaders that given a chance to make this community grow. Right. That simple. Why in the world did they not reach out to one of us since that presentation last August? Not one.
Not one.
Are you going to tell me that's leadership?
Right.
Well, I think mic drop, and
I mean, like we said, it's just vote. Get out and vote, because if you don't vote tomorrow, don't complain about there's no change come Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah. And don't complain that there aren't new parks and new splash pads and all that other stuff. That's got to come when dollars come in the community, and businesses want to thrive and pay more, higher paying jobs, all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
That's, I mean, I can't, I've said it over and over and over again. We have got to get laser focused as a community on economic growth, because if we don't, there really isn't any other issue in this community that's going to matter.
Well, in turn too, Michael, I think you got to just realize it's simple. It's not that difficult. If we will just take the chains off and let this place grow, it will grow.
Mm.
It's that simple. But we basically try to keep it so constricted and do it in such a Neanderthal way of trying to get things done with a good old boy mentality. I use it. Right. Nothing happens.
Well, they're so worried about who's going to get that, who's going to reap the reward. You know, the idea that every project has got to be, or every idea has got to serve a particular group of people, or in order for it to get through City Hall, or for anything to happen.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And the time where that it never worked, but we've really seen what happens, how far we have gone, that a small handful of people are really, you know, just like you said, have the chains on what
that's all it is. We've literally sat here and kept it suppressed versus letting it grow. Right. I mean, but there again, it's like we said, you know, you have to have the things in place for that growth. I mean, if I had an associate, you know, that worked for me, that uttered to me in a meeting that they didn't have time to work on a project for me that was going to save us $1 million, they wouldn't be employed the next day.
Right.
So
that's just the simplicity of what that's just there again, and that's a taxpayer's issue. That's not a private citizen employer issue. That is your mentality, which obviously it is. That's a problem.
Yeah, I think you're
talking about $1 million.
Yeah, you're referring directly to Miss Lisa Rosser and the budget and the request from Thomas Worthy asking about refinancing the school board.
Thomas handled that situation much more eloquently than I would have. I can promise you that. You know, because but there again, that's my point, Michael, is that type of thinking and mindset cannot be in a position of authority to help your community grow.
Yeah, I mean, if I was paying Gadsden taxes and somebody could save $1 million, I would think pay somebody $50,000 to come in and do it. You're still coming out ahead, right? So,
and that's the type of thinking you can't fix, you replace.
No, you have
all
to.
of these elected offices, and that's what tomorrow is about. We saw, David, in the rendering that we tried to fix the mentality. We tried to be like, surely you understand. Surely if we just explain it again in a different way, but no, you can't. We realized we can't fix it. It's going to have to be replaced, and that's what tomorrow is all about. And I'm excited to see what Gadsden does.
Well,
absolutely, I am as well. You know, because like I said before, we truly can be a wonderful, great community that can really grow and thrive. And it's like Fred said, we haven't done that, guys. If this not been a long enough position to see this thing shrinking and contracting, you know, let's turn it loose. Let's see what we can do. You know, let's put the people in there. Let's get some new, fresh ideas. Give these people opportunity to help us all grow and prosper.
Well, David, thank you so much for. Sorry to keep you out so late.
Don't worry, I'll bill Christy. Don't worry about it all. You guys have a great evening, and thank you for all you guys do.
Thank you, David.
All right, thank you, David. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a great night.
Bye. All right. Well. I'm going to leave this up there again. Election results. We're going to try and get those on. Thank you guys so much that have stuck on with us, and some comments. I've been trying to keep an eye and see if there was anything in particular. But how about we'll start, Jonathan? Closing thoughts. What are you thinking about as you go back to probably put 4 or 5 hours more work in before you head to the house?
A little more time tonight, kind of like Jason Wilson. I'm going to head out and throw out all the plugs. I've been over here silently agreeing with pretty much everything that everybody has said. So I think no matter what happens tomorrow, we're going to have to stay engaged. You know, if it doesn't go exactly the way we think it's going to go, we can't just throw our hands up in the air and go, well, that's it. You know, you're on your own. You know, we've got to stay engaged. We've got to continue working with the people who are going to be elected. And it is going to be a mix-up. You know, you're going to have a lot of people who don't know their job and their position all starting at the same time. You know, we've got a lot of new positions in the office, and so there's going to be a lot of things going on. And whoever does win the mayoral race is going to have their work cut out for them, because they're going to have an entirely new staff.
Well, you ain't kidding.
You know, it's going to be a job. And so please hire someone who you think is going to do that job and structure it like a business. I think in some of the conversations with David, I think we need to structure the political offices and the leadership like you would a business. You don't necessarily want to have to worry about every aspect of your business all the time. You need to put people in those positions that are going to handle those jobs, and you can just check in from time to time and go, hey, they're doing great. They're doing the job that we elected them to do. So, no matter how it goes, we've just got to hang in there, stay engaged. We can't just all fall off the map and build the wall around Gadsden.
Well,
we could start that. That could be the next thing we could do. We could just start working on building the wall.
Build the wall. I don't know how Martins would feel about that.
Well, the airport actually does kind of have a wall all the way around it already. So I'm technically already in a walled off environment there at the Gadsden Airport. But those are my thoughts.
Well, Christy,
I agree. I think the importance of this election cannot be overstated in so many ways. I think that while certainly if people are elected in office that are espouse this division mentality, this lack of honesty and other problems we have seen, I get the heart of, we got to try to work with it. I struggle with how to work with somebody or group of people that I feel that honesty is just absent. How do you do that? How do you manage that? And I hopefully we won't have to find out how that would be, but it's as opposed to, we've got two options and you got to work with people. We've got such a stark choice point, and the decision is so clear. And to be honest, like I said, that all of the candidates running for office have themselves, made it that way. Again, I was worried, would the people understand what the decision? I think we do. I think that the way the campaigns have gone, we really, really see that. And I think that the contrast is so stark in so many ways. It's a generational decision that will affect us for 10s, 20, 30 years down the road. We will look back at this point, I think, and say, now that was the point where it all went whatever. And I'm not trying to be dire about that. I'm not trying to be gloom and doom about it, but I think it's the truth. And I think that we can't forget that. And I think that that's exciting. I think there's a lot of really exciting things about that, but I think that it's serious. And I think that we need to take that responsibility as serious as we possibly can. And it's not just one of these, we need to go vote, it's the right thing to do. No. Like, this is a generational election. You, your family, your neighbors, you need to put them in a car. You need to get your children that can vote, that are in the car to vote. It is that. It's not just a trite statement to get out and vote this time. It is more important than probably anything that you'll do in a long, long time. And so I think everybody understands what the choice is, how serious it is. I'm very hopeful. I think that Gadsden's going to choose right. I think that I believe in my home, and I call Gadsden my home. I live down the stone's throw in Gadsden. You could drive into my house and it's right there. But I believe in Gadsden. I believe that Gadsden is ready. I believe Gadsden sees. I believe Gadsden understands what this choice is. So I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it, but I appreciate everybody and in this city, in this county, what you have done in order to get us to this point here. And let's go.
Well, so I guess I want to finish off with just the thought of Advance Etowah and the evilness that we appear to be, and the accusations that it's like it's shocking, and yet I feel like we've been saying exactly what everybody's saying about us for 2 years now. I'm not really sure why anyone's surprised that we're going to go against people and have issue and take issue with people that, number one, came straight out and say that they don't think that we're right, that they disagree with us, that they say the exact same things that we've been fighting with people. And it didn't start with a fight. It started with a conversation, and they chose to escalate it. And then it ended up in court. And then a lot of truth came out. And then we had a lot of uncomfortable conversations. And then we get to call people based on facts. Yes, you lied to us. Yes, you hid truth from us. And then we said, look, as we unpeeled all those onions, these are the issues. These are the problems that we have. And if we want to see people that want to fix those, and those are the people that we want to talk to and support and figure out how to help. And I don't know why anyone's surprised that people that are against those issues, why we would take issue with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've said multiple times, I wore a uniform for the democracy that we have in this country, and everyone has their right to their opinion and their right to vote and the right to live the life that they want to live in this community. And I respect that. And tomorrow the city of Gadsden gets to decide, and that's fine. But there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. I just don't get it. I don't understand, this, oh, we caught you, you're doing something shady. I mean, what else has been documented anywhere in this region as much as the things that we have done and said and the documents, how many other areas do you get so much airtime from an attorney involved in a case with a city that sits there and explains? I just don't understand why this is a discussion and why anyone's shocked and surprised at the way we've conducted ourselves. And, hopefully all of us as a community that have been a part of this, a part of Advanced Etowah, a part of this fight, I feel pretty comfortable that at the end of the day, we can go to bed and sleep soundly, that we've conducted ourselves with honor and integrity. Certainly, frustration, heated, and comments on the internet that, look, that's going to happen. So no one should be shocked with anything that we've done throughout this campaign. I had hoped that we would have more candidates that wanted to have conversations about, hey, here's some ideas on how to restructure the GAA. Here's some ideas on how to restructure the IDA. Here's some other things that I've identified in my study of the way our government's done that are all still part of this underlying problem. And the reality is we didn't have any other candidates. None that really wanted to have that conversation. They just wanted to sit and yell at us and talk about how ugly we were. And so I don't know why anyone is shocked. It's the same conversation because we've had a whole bunch of people saying the exact same thing to us for 2 years. And as David pointed out, if there wasn't any merit in the cases, we wouldn't have won every single one of them. So there, I said it. Gadsden, please don't let us down. A lot of people have put in a lot of time and a lot of resources, and tomorrow will change the fate of our county. Yes, our county, it's not just about Gadsden. The fate of our county hangs in the balance tomorrow. So we're counting on you. Let us know what we can do to help. We're going to try and bring you the results and show you, and try to bring some transparency. And if there's confusion and any of that kind of stuff, we're going to try and bring as much information as we can. But guys, I have never been prouder to be a citizen in this community. However tomorrow goes, this will forever be 2 years of my life that I am thankful for. The amazing people that I've gotten to see, the friends that I've made, and just the things I've seen it's just pretty cool because, quite honestly, I just can't imagine that too many other communities get to see it. So, guys, y'all go get some sleep after you call 12 friends. 12 friends. Text them right now and tell them to go vote tomorrow morning. We'll see you on the internet, and we'll see you, well, maybe at the poll. So, guys, y'all have a good night. Thank y'all so much for all that you do. We will catch you